one of the most asked question in Angular interviews is, do you know anything about NgRx? What do you know about NgRx? Why to use NgRx? What is NgRx? What are the real-time scenarios for NgRx? These are the very, very regular questions in most of the scenarios, most of the cases, most of the interviews. So first of all, NgRx is not something like just by remembering the syntax you can able to do something. You need a clear understanding about NgRx and why we need to use NgRx and what are the different problems we are going to solve through NgRx. So first of all, what does it address and what is it actually? Let us see the definition of it. NgRx is a library which follows Redux pattern. Okay, NgRx is a library which follows Redux. So then you should understand what is Redux. Okay, I'm not going to explain you what is what you say Redux. Redux is a advanced thing of Flex. Flex is something advanced about something. I am not going to teach that, but first of all, what is Redux is a very important point. Here you can see Redux is a pattern and library for managing and updating application state using events called actions. So by just reading this definition, by just looking at this definition, I don't think you really understand anything. So there are too many things. First of all, let us understand what is pattern. Right. So somehow I got this example. So I am teaching that example. Have you ever identified we have a pattern of doing things? Do we have a pattern of doing things? For example, you are trying for farming. So have you ever noticed there is a pattern in farming? ఒక ప్యాటర్న్ ఉంటుందా ఫార్మింగ్ చేసేటప్పుడు? Do we have a pattern in farming? What is the pattern? So first of all, once we want to start cultivation, what do? Is we just simply what you say, దీన్ని ఏమంటారో తెలియదమ్మా, దున్నడం అంటారు తెలుగులో, ఇంగ్లీష్లో మాత్రం ఏమంటారో తెలియదు. We use a tractor or we use something like this to pick up some what you say moisture or these all things. We will make the ground in such uneven way. After that, we start giving water to the ground and then we start what you say sprouting the basic seeds. Dani telugulo naట్లు వేయడం అంటారు. After that, we start distributing that sprouts to the whole field, and then we start doing step by step. Okay, and then also we have another procedure like when to give the water, when to do that. This we have a, what is that process called as? That is called as pattern. So if you don't know what, if you are not going to follow the pattern, then you will be ended up in a problem. So we have a fixed pattern or fixed procedure for farming. So of course, for watermelon farming, we may have a different pattern, and for rice we may use different pattern in lower Kogula. For for everyone, for every farming we have a pattern. Okay, this is one pattern. That means doing things in a way. For me, it is called a pattern. Next, It is thali, not tali. Okay. It is thali. So do we separate out the curry, chapati, rice, huh? Or else we mix everything in the mixture and we'll drink directly? Do we follow pattern or not, even while we are eating? Yes. So let us conclude. So we follow some pattern. Whether we want to learn something from, whether we want to educate ourselves, we have a pattern. Even for our coaching center also, we have a pattern. That is, we conduct first demo classes, and then we will give them what you say, 2-3 free sessions. Then we will collect first installment. This is a pattern. And even while you are going for you are learning mathematics, in the childhood we start learning about some basic counting, addition. There is a pattern, there is a flow. So this particular flow needs, उठाओ, फिर से, yeah, we need a pattern for doing any bloody thing. Okay, right. So what is the necessity of this redux pattern? Redux is a pattern for what? Okay, while we are developing applications, while we are developing larger applications, especially when we want to maintain the data, especially in the larger applications. What do you mean by larger applications? For example, let us take flipkart.com. While you are shopping the products, you need to select the item, you need to add into the cart, you need to purchase. After purchasal, you need to pay the payment, and then it must be transiting from Gujarat or Noida to Hyderabad. So it will reach to the nearest warehouse, then it reaches to the nearest distribution center, then they will allot a phone number to you, then you can call them, they will come, will talk, will take, will sign, will open. This entire event to book a small product, there is a lot of data to be maintained. It's not about only the product. If you are a premier customer or some customer, you will get a separate discount, a different discount. There are so many data you have to maintain. I hope you understand. So when you are developing larger applications of this type, you definitely need to maintain the data in a pattern. Otherwise, what will happen? First of all, this is the ultimate thing. Why should we maintain this data? The data, whatever we are using here, why should we maintain that data in a pattern? For example, now Deepthi is here. Deepthi is maintaining her data, maintaining the application data in her own way. She take array of objects. She will perform her own operations to update the data, to delete the data, to modify the data, to add the data, to read the data. She use her own techniques. Arvind, one more guy is there. Arvind tried to use his own approach of doing things. So in this process, Sindhu entered into the picture. She's a newbie. How Sindhu can really understand which particular way I had to follow? What is this pattern? She takes a lot of time to understand what the hell is this. So definitely we need a very peculiar way to maintain the data where everyone follows the same way. For example, you are calling an API and you are bringing the data and you are displaying the data on one place. Suppose if this is the case. So you follow one procedure. The same procedure should be followed for all the API calls, right? Sindhu, when Sindhu is having an API, wants an API call and she writes her own different code, and Deepthi writes her own different code, Vani writes her own different code, Arvind writes his own different code, will make the whole application into crap. So everyone should follow the same flow, the same approach, so that in the future, if somebody wants to do some more work, they can follow the same thing. And even a new person comes and enter into the team, they will also have the clarity. And believe me, if you followed a regular pattern, even external person will never feel this is new. I will tell you my personal experience. More than anything, I'm basically a freelancer. Not from today, from ages, from 2002, I am a freelancer. So from those days, I am working on different technologies. One of the major technology I worked for is PHP. In 2004, 2000, not 2004, 2006, 7, especially those days, PHP was hell. So I used to take a lot of freelance projects, but my success rate was only 30 to 40%. Most of the cases, I couldn't fix the problem and I had to lose the money and my time as well. Because PHP developers are poets. Rather than they are called as developers, I should call them as poets. Called Kavulu. They write their own way. Even if they follow Zend or Laravel or Cake PHP or anything, even if they are following, they write their own ways of coding. All of a sudden, some other function comes into the picture which you never expect that function will be available in this file. And there is no proper debugging in PHP. Then see the problem. Then I entered into another process called jQuery. So jQuery based projects I used to handle. jQuery is little bit okay, but that is also hardly, it gave me 40 to 45%, not even more than that. Success rate means 50% of my work time was waste. Then I got a beautiful framework called AngularJS. Then my success rate reached to 60%. That means I could able to utilize my time. Yes, 40% was waste. Even in AngularJS also, there are so many poets. Okay. Then the hero came into the picture where I could able to leave my job. I left my job in 2017. From that day onwards, I am not working in any company. I'm working as a freelancer. I'm working as a consultant. So all these years, I am literally living because of one technology called Angular. Because if Angular is such a framework which follow the rules so strictly in such a way that whether the developer is from Malaysia, whether the developer is from Mongolia, whether the developer is from Mexico, whether the developer is from Medellin, doesn't matter. They follow the same architecture. They follow the same principles. Data binding is same in Medellin as well as New Delhi. Pipes are same in Toronto as well as Colombo. Everywhere, the following process is same. Of course, I'm saying, still we have poets, even in this strong and very ridiculous, strict practices also. Maybe Dhritiman don't accept it because when he worked with Cisco, yeah, this is not the regular way of writing the code. These guys are using Angular JS in between Angular. What the hell is this? He asked me. Yes, of course, sir. Imagine if it was not Angular JS and Angular, how PHP would be. When I worked on PHP, it was hell. PHP లో నువ్వు సపోర్ట్ కానీ లేకపోతే ఫ్రీలాన్స్ వర్క్ కానీ తీసుకుంటే మెంటల్ వస్తుంది నీకు. The same project must be written by hundreds of people. So they are the problems I have faced. But even Angular is also not but actually that is the whole problem. Angular is good, but data maintenance is not good in Angular. The problem with Angular is the way the data being handled is not appropriate in Angular. Yes, they have RxJS, but RxJS is not meant for data handling. RxJS is meant for asynchronous event handling. So they tried with subjects, they tried with observables, they tried so many things, but they ended up in a big problem. Then they started adopting. In fact, this is more famous in React. That technology, that pattern for maintaining the data is called as state. That state management or that data management techniques adopted from Redux. So Angular people started creating their own way of data management, but ultimately they were following a pattern called Redux. So what do you mean by Redux? Redux is like not like is it's basically it's a pattern. So that pattern can be followed by multiple people. Angular is following that pattern and they named that, because if you want to follow the pattern, you need some code, right? You need some functions, you need some library. And they named that library as NgRx, Angular Redux. Okay. And because Redux ultimately came from React for applications, so they named that library as Redux only. But now we have a different library for maintaining data in React application. We are calling it as RTK, Redux Toolkit. That is a library, of course, follow the Redux pattern for ReactJS, and we call it as RTK. Here we are calling, in Angular, we are calling as Redux, NgRx. So this is the whole difference. Don't worry about the state, events, actions. Worry not. That's my agenda today. Worry not. This is, if you are clear about it, then you definitely learn what is Redux and RxJS. So let's understand the serious problem. Before that, let me have some water. Let us see. Every human being will have two things. One is state. Another one is action. Every human being, not only human being, everything in the world is having these two parts. For example, here you can see some fan. So this fan is also having those two things. What are they? State and action. The tube light is also having a state. The AC is having a state. Speakers are having the state. TV is having a state. What is this? What is the state of tube light? Does tube light have a state? Ante state ante Andhra Pradesh, Telangana ani kaadu. State means what is its possession. State. నీ మెంటల్ స్టేట్ ఏంటని అడుగుతారు. అంటే నువ్వు స్టేబుల్గా ఉన్నావా? ఆర్ యూ స్టేబుల్? ఆర్ యూ అన్స్టేబుల్? ఆర్ యూ యాంగ్రీ? These are all not emotions. For physics, they are called states. Okay. What is the state of the fan? Okay. For fan, there are multiple states. Whether it is on or off. That is called as status. power on, true or false. That is one property, one state. Second state is, what is the speed of the wings? Is it called as state or not? Yes. It is rotating. What is the speed of it? 400 RPM, 600 RPM, 800 RPM are the different values for a state called speed of the wings. That is a state of the fan. There are 2-3 more states. The amount of dust on the fan is also a state for your kind information. How much dust it is having. Second thing is, how much temperature it is having now. Because it is rotating, so if you keep your hand on the coil, you can feel that temperature. That is also the state of a person. State of the fan. As a human being, what is the state of the, as this body, what is the state for this body? Weight, height, temperature, hemoglobin, heartbeat, blood pressure, sodium levels. These are all different states. Amount of uric acid, amount of water in the body. These are all different states. These states will be modified by actions. My weight is now 72 kilograms. Okay, let us, for the time being, let us have like that. 72 kilograms. Okay, I had a Bahubali breakfast. So my weight increases to 73.4 kg. So this particular change in the state happened on because of action. Without action, your state will not be changed. Without action, your state will not be changed, whether it may be externally or internally. Suppose you are not utilizing anything, or you are not utilizing your energy, then there is no change in your state. Right? Those people who have state, but there is no action, then they are called as dead people. That's truth. We have state. What are the different states we have? Weight, height, body, mass, weight, all these things are there. But what's the problem? There is no action. So that action is internal part of it. What is that action doing? It is always trying to modify the state. So for every system, not only human system, not only AC, whenever you see any particular electronic device, you look that device as a combination of state and action. State of the mobile, for example, give me my mobile. This mobile is hardware, of course, that is called material. It is having the state, for example, battery. Battery will be drained by doing some actions, isn't it? I'm able to see Instagram on my mobile. So I have performed an action. What is the action? Active application is equal to Instagram. That is a change I have made. My active application I made to Instagram. So now the state changed. So obviously I can able to see the Instagram. Suppose I'm already on the Instagram. Can you go to the Facebook without doing any action? Certainly it needs its own type of action. Right? So every application, I mean to say, every device, every human being, everything. మీరు ఒక కుక్కను చూసారనుకోండి, కుక్క, dog, that is also having its own state and action. The dog could able to move from here to there. What is the state changed? The position, the x coordinate and y coordinate on the earth got changed. How it changed? Because of action. Okay, आपको बोर लग रहा है तो you can leave. So everything, for everything you need to perform an action. It is off. Earlier it is off. The fan is off. So I changed that fan state from on off to on. How it happened? Because I performed a state called power. Switch on. ऐसे कुछ बटन दबाने से, by pressing the button, I am able to change the state of the fan. Okay. So same way, if you are performing online shopping, you are actually changing the state. If you are trying to if you click on the mobile, actually you changed the state. I click on Infinix. The state of the application got changed by performing some action. So now if I reduce the price from ranging from minimum to 10,000, high to low. Anyways, what did I do? I changed the state. How did I change the state? By performing some action. Automatically, it's not happened. By performing some action, it changed. Okay. Suppose if I open this and I just press notify me. Okay, notify me. I pressed on notify me. So how this is being maintained in the application as a state, and that is that this mobile should be in the wish list, and that particular work will be done by actions. Okay, I tried my best to describe you what is the state and what is the action in terms of application. So to maintain the data, that is state, to maintain the actions, we need a proper architecture. And that architecture, I mean to say proper pattern. That pattern is already described and designed in Redux. And we are following it. So directly following is not your cup of tea. Already to follow that entire process, to follow that pattern, some great fellows developed a library, and we call that library as NgRx. So here Redux is a pattern and library for managing and updating application state using events called actions. So HTML, for example, HTML will perform this is all there on the browser. I want to add something in the cart. I want to add something in the cart. That's okay. But how I am able to do? By using the events. I am clicking something. They're all identified as events. So those events are basically called as actions. So now what does it do? Now Redux will maintain the state and actions, will write the state and actions. That is what we have to do. Slowly, I will complete it. Redux serves as centralized store for state that needs to be used across the entire application. What do you mean by that? The entire application is divided into small parts called components. From the beginning, what we have done is every component will maintain their data in variables, and they will be reflected on the UI by data binding, and we use directives to display the data or to do anything. This is a very regular package. But some of the components data may be needed by other component also. So when you want to send the data from one component to another component, you have to do very big circus, not a simple circus. I just want to show my cinematic creativity. Please enjoy that. So the actual problem is we want to pass some data from one bench to another bench. You expect something like, it is so simple, huh? Lelo. But actually, how complex in real time in Angular is this one. That is for like Fast and Furious. These two are not connected. This goes in different pace and this goes in a different pace. How do you transform the data from one place to another place? Such a complex and difficult situation. If you don't know that, I will introduce you to keywords. Select 3-4 keywords. First keyword, @input. By listening to that word itself, Devda, @input. How I have to receive the input, how do I print the input, how do I pass the input? There. That is parent to child communication. Another monster is child to parent communication. @output. And if it is not parent child, these two are distinct components. There is no proper relationship. Then you have to use subjects, event emitters. Bas, हाथ ऊपर. నాకొద్దు ఈ లాంగ్వేజ్ వద్దు, నాకు రిడక్స్ వద్దు, రియాక్ట్ వద్దు, నేను ఇంటికి వెళ్ళిపోతా. This is how we feel, right? Don't feel happy. This is also equivalent to that. Okay, just a breather, that's it. So we feel this is the actual problem, that is passing the data from one component to another component, not only maintaining the data. The another problem is, how do you pass from one component to another component? Suppose if your application is too big, this is the problem you are going to face. You may be not aware of this image. It's a very popular image. Because of this image, one CM should have resigned. So this is an exam center in one state. And inside the exam center, students are writing 10th class exams. And these people are, some of them are teachers also. They are passing the chits from here to. So how you have to pass from here to here, here to here, here to here? There are so much of chain. Huh? Pattern. Bottom up approach. Very complex approach. This is the problem. And here also, if you want to pass the chit or some information from one place to another place, will it be difficult or not? Even on the strict vigilance, this fellow is also doing some copying. Hey, very good, very good. So what is the solution? It is difficult to pass the data from one component to another component. Then what is the solution? You will be surprised. The solution is writing every answer on the board. Is it not the solution? Copy కొట్టడం కరెక్టా కాదా గురించి మాట్లాడట్లేదు. If you write the data in one big board, what is the advantage of it? అంతా కలిపి ఒకటే బోర్డు మీద రాసేస్తే అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏముంటుంది కాపీ కొట్టుకునే వాళ్ళకి? ఇట్లంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటి? ఏముంటుంది అడ్వాంటేజ్? ఏముంటుంది? ఉండదు. ఏముంటుంది? రాసుకోవచ్చు, ఈజీగా రాసుకోవచ్చు. We need not to pass the data. Directly we'll bring the data from the board. Try to understand the common place. This is what I want to create. Store is something which you are maintaining everything in one common place. iPad. If you write everything in one place, that will be shared among all the places. Suppose you want to speak about some competition in a school. In my school, there were 3 sections for every class. So 10 into 3, 30 classrooms are there. So 30 classrooms, I want to, not me, There is a singing competition in some Now Bharat Academy. So they are conducting singing competitions. So that information should be given to all the students. How is it possible? How we generally do? We write a circular and we send the circular to every class. And the attender used to go to every class and teacher used to speak out about that circular or that competition to every student. This is what happens in regular scenario. Suppose if you keep everything in one place, every student will come there and see that, right? So the ultimate agenda of this example is, now we are not maintaining the stores or data state in individual components. We maintain the data in one common place and we call that as store. If you are using Gmail, you can see that beautiful example over here. So here, there is a separate set of data over here, separate data over here. There is a lot of data. These are all different components. All these components data will not be maintained individually. They will be maintained under one store. What is the advantage of it? So first of all, try to see the reality. I just clicked on your Indeed job feed. I clicked on that feed. What is the change you have observed here? మొత్తం ఎంటైర్ అప్లికేషన్లో నువ్వేమైనా చేంజెస్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేసావా? ఇది ఒక్కటే ఓపెన్ అవ్వడమే చూసావా? మీరు నన్ను చూస్తే చేంజెస్ మీకు కనపడవు, అప్లికేషన్ చూస్తే కనపడతాయి. అంతే అంటే అంతే, అంతవరకే ఉంటుంది పరిస్థితి. ఇప్పుడు నేను డిలీట్ చేస్తున్నా, ఇంకొక చోట నువ్వు చేంజ్ అబ్జర్వ్ చేయొచ్చు. ఎవడి కౌంటు? అదే ఎక్కడుంది? అది చూపి నాకు, నేను అదే కదా పైన పైన ఏం కనపడతలేదు కదా. వేర్ ఈస్ దట్? Eight of 8,216. 13 of 8,216. అదే నా చేంజ్ నువ్వు చెప్తుంది? చేంజ్ అవుతుందా? ఇంకొక చోట కూడా చేంజ్, యూ కెన్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ అనదర్ చేంజ్. ద చేంజ్ ఈస్ హియర్ 4,524. అనదర్ చేంజ్ 4,523. Suppose if this is a component and this is another component, whatever the changes I made here, how this component able to convey that change in the state in the left sidebar? How is it happening? It is happening only because individual components are not maintaining the state. This entire data, this entire state is maintained under one place called store. That store, if that store gets changed, that store will send the information to this sidebar and this menu bar. If I remove this, you can see here there is a change. Earlier it was 8216, now it is 8215. When I click here, there is a change 101 to 200. If I click here, there is another change. So these all things are happening because of maintaining the data in one place. So I tried my best to tell you what are the real-time scenarios where we use this kind of state. So don't worry about React component hierarchy or Angular component hierarchy. Both are same. We maintain one app component. Inside the app component, you have multiple components. Inside that individual component, again you have children, again you have children. This kind of structure we'll maintain. But when we maintain the store using Redux, and eventually that means using NgRx, what will happen? We maintain that whole data in one single place called big store. Okay. And from, so if you want to update any data from one component, you dispatch an action so that that action reaches to the store and it will update the store. And as soon as the store get the update, as soon as store gets updated, the store's duty is to send that information to all the components. How many of you are not subscribed to my channel? Please subscribe my channel. Okay, sorry. So my point is, YouTube is maintaining my account store, my YouTube channel store. So as soon as, even my account is also one of the YouTube's store. Even my account is also part of the YouTube, right? Even my videos are also maintained under YouTube's store. So when I upload a new video into the YouTube, okay, so what are the changes you will observe on my channel? So as soon as I upload a new video, and the number of videos will be changed from 415 to 416, right? First change what you observe is that. Next, what is the, so state will be updated. State will be, store will be updated. So what is the job of the YouTube store? Whatever the subscribers of my channel are, sending the notification to every subscriber. Isn't it? So that job also done by store. So even in our applications, what do? We maintain a common store. As soon as I click on add to cart, the store will be updated. That store will update this cart. That store will update the cart. So as soon as I add the item to cart, that is coming here or not? How did I get here? That store updated into the cart component. So whenever I deleted this particular email, what happened? Store will get that action. Store will remove the data from its own store and it will update the inbox of this component, this particular place, as well as this particular place. In fact, there are two components. So that kind of communication will happen. So store's duty is to send the data, not the, see, component's duty is not to inform all the components who are looking at my email. For example, I have uploaded a video. Is it my job to send personal messages to all my subscribers? అసలు నేను ప్రతి ఒక్క సబ్స్క్రైబర్ కి పర్సనల్ మెసేజెస్ పంపించడం కుదురుతుందా? Is it possible to send personal messages to all my subscribers? No way. No. It's not possible. So I will just update the store garu, I am uploading my new video. So please send that information to all my subscribers. So store's duty is to send, that is called broadcast. So store broadcast the data, that notification, that is its duty. So this concept we have to accommodate in the application. Just keep on watching this. I'll be back in a minute. UI means your application, the front end. So when we want to update the store, when we want to send some data to the store, we'll fire an action. We'll trigger an action. That action goes to the reducer. What is reducer? I'm coming to that point. This reducer update the store, and the store will update the UI back. Okay, so this is the cycle, but it is not that easy. In fact, this is so easy. What is the job of reducer? What is the job of action? What is the store? Of course, we understood the store, but what all these things? For example, I hope you are all aware of a beautiful ABCD bank. I don't want to name that ultimately. In that bank, you want to deposit 100 crores. You don't want 100 crores. You don't want to deposit 100 crores. Yes, you want. So you want to deposit 100 crores in your favorite bank. So you go there, you got a big bag, and you feel like as soon as I enter into the bank, everybody will come and kneel down. Please, sir, please come. Some respect will be given, but that is that ABC bank, no? So they say it's lunchtime, sir. What? Yes, sir, it is our lunchtime. Sir, 100 crores. Yes, sir, but it is our lunchtime. Very, very good people. Huh? Okay, lunchtime is over. Still you are waiting. So you expect manager will come and take the money. No. You have to take the token, no? You directly go to the cash counter and say, deposit my money. And no, sir. First fill the blue form and give your PAN card and Aadhaar card Xerox. And then take the token. After 5 to 10 minutes, you will get your turn to deposit the money. Wow, wow. Even my money to deposit. This much of procedure? Yes, sir. Even to update the store, there is a lot of procedure you have to follow. These are the rules. There is the problem. You feel like, chirag. No. Relax. There is a procedure, and that is for our good only. Okay. Second, number 2. Okay, you have 5,000 crores in your bank and you want to withdraw 200 crores to purchase some land in Kukatpally. Okay, very good. You go to the counter and you take the money, collect it, and you'll go away. I have 5,000 crores. Your bank is running on my money. Yes, sir. Certainly, sir. This is lunch break, sir. After 2:30, they will open the doors and then you can enter. And again, you have to fill a form. What is a form? Pink slip. You have to enter the details. You have to put the Xerox of PAN card and Aadhaar card. Then you have to submit it. If the money is there, then they will give you. Otherwise, no. Acha, ठीक है. So even to deposit the money or withdraw the money, you have a procedure or not? Do you really need this kind of procedure? My phone. Do you really need this procedure? Why? If you don't follow the procedure, the data will be losing. That means anybody can come and say, I am Sindhu's friend, give me that 200 crores. Definitely you need a procedure, right? The same way, data is so sensitive. Data should not be tampered so easily. So definitely you need to follow the procedure, and the procedure is given in Redux pattern. The pattern speaks about the procedure to maintain the data, to add the data, to delete the data, all these things. So now I just want to elaborate the procedure. I have different things. This is called view. This is called view. That means your UI, your screen. So from the screen, you will send the actions, the store. Of course, earlier I have shown the reducer, then now I am going back to the store. Of course, this reducer will get that action through the store and the reducer will do the respective work. And then after respective work, that newly given data, that means you want to change the inbox data. So first, whatever there in the inbox, those all inbox data will be given to the reducer after action. After action, that particular action will go to the store. Store will pass the data to the reducer, and the reducer will take the state, the current data, and the action what you have received, and the reducer will do the respective job, and reducer will give the state back to the store. So the store now sends the data to view. That means UI back. So now the NgRx state management. Here is my component. Here is my component. If component want the data, only data, basic data, it will take the data from the store using selectors. How to maintain the data is different ballgame. Suppose you want to update the data in the store. So you raise an action. You raise an action. That action will be identified by reducer, of course, through store only. By reducer, and the reducer update the store, and store subsequently update the component. So let us not waste the time. We'll directly jump into the application and then we'll see that. So the bigger problem is, first of all, you should know how to create the application and all. First of all, my intention is very simple. I am right now in PWD. Okay, I am in Praveen folder only. So you need Angular CLI ng new NgRx class -- no stand alone and enter. It creates array. It will not work. Okay, let me see. I need sudo in front of this for my computer. Okay. So here I am installing the Angular application, fresh application, which I don't want to trouble you with my existing applications. If it is taking time, let it take time. In the meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So there is a question from Bellamkonda Venkat Kalyan. He's saying like, what is standalone? Nowadays, Angular is in the version Angular 17. Angular 17 follows standalone components. Earlier components are all must and should they have module. They should be in the module. Now, without module, you can actually create components. You need not to include any specific module. So this is the new way of writing the code. Okay, I may release some more videos where how to use this NgRx for standalone components where there are no modules. Then how do you configure the store? How do you include the store into the components? How do you communicate? These all things I will explain some or the other video, or else you please take my Angular course. I will explain you all those things. Okay. Anyways, so previously we used to maintain every component under a module. Now we are not maintaining it. We can use it separately. And the second thing is, so by default, ng new will install standalone component application structure, but that application structure is not good, because you may get confused, because ultimately you have to follow this documentation. In the documentation, they are following module based approach, no standalone approach. So that is why I created an application without standalone. Okay. Next. Is it a good idea to use PWA and NgRx in the same? That's fine. That is why we are using it, obviously. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to the CD NgRx class folder. Okay, it is. I would like to see, yes, all things are installed. So now what do I do is I will open that folder. So it's beautiful. It opened nicely here in the app folder. You have app module.ts and all. So the next very important, the by default, it won't come with NgRx. You have to install NgRx separately. So you need to install. So let us go to the installation. npm is okay, or else you copy this command and paste it in the NgRx class and execute it. It will automatically include the store related entries. Okay. The problem is, yeah, this is the problem. I had to use the sudo. You can see here in the import section, store module dot for root. Here is the reducers. Of course, what is meta reducer and all is not this class in the scope of this class. I will discuss it later, not later, in the regular classes. So let me concentrate on how to create the store. As simple as that. Already there is a reducers folder, you got it, but don't use it right now. It's very confusing for you at this moment. I will show you some better ways, and which is being followed by NgRx website, so that you can refer this website and start using it. So here you have to follow this way: src app counter.actions.ts. So here you have to create, in the app folder, you have to first create actions file. So before creating the counter, you need to create the action file. 100%. Do you see, before really entering into the new house, you think about where the bathroom should be. After coming to the after completion of housewarming ceremony, you should not think about where the washroom is, where the kitchen is. This is what called predictable approach. This is called, and that means what we are going to face, that should be prepared before. So first, everything you have to start from this way. Okay. For example, I bought a home theater. Okay. Imagine, after bringing the home theater, I should not think about, okay, my satellite speakers should have a switch. I mean, electricity supply, power supply. నేను అట్లా ఆలోచించకూడదు కదా, తెచ్చిన తర్వాత ఆలోచించకూడదు. I had to first prepare. Okay, if the woofer comes here, if the center speaker comes here, bar comes here, then where the satellite speakers come? There. So is there any electricity available for that satellite speakers? Yes. So these all should be predicted first. Then you have to accommodate. Otherwise, it will be a hell. Before purchasing the AC, you have to think about where is the outlet, where I should put the outlet. Don't you think so? How to install that AC, all these things you have to. So first we have to write down the actions. These actions are not actually doing anything. They are just declarative things. So I am going to perform these kind of actions. So these actions are like what do you say? Like some keywords. I say jump. You jump. Right? I say jump. Then of course you jump. If you may jump. So which is action here? Your jumping is action, or my word action is the action? Jump is the action. నువ్వు జంప్ చేయడం యాక్షనా, నేను జంప్ అనడం యాక్షనా? ఆ పనికి, ఆ వర్క్ కి జంప్ అనే కీవర్డ్ ని బైండ్ చేయడం is important, right? So that is the work I am doing here. I am saying that jump is action. So here I am declaring increment action. So this increment action will be called by component, so that the reducer will do that incrementation job. Okay, so we all separate it. Remember my first picture. When we are having thali, when we are having food, do you club everything in one glass and drink it, or else you will have separately? Yes, the same way, as much as possible we are separating it. We are just naming what are the actions I am going to do in actions. In reducer.ts, I am going to declare when the action comes, when action increment action comes, what I should do. Whatever the current state of counter is, that should be incremented to 1. Whenever the decrement action comes, the current state should be decremented to 1. Whenever the reset action should be there, the current state should be resetted to 0. So that means what to be done is given in reducers. What, sorry, I'm sorry. How to be done అంటే స్టేట్ ఎట్లా మార్చాలి, what changes I have to do. The complete actual work is happening in the reducer. What here doing? Here we are just declaring. We have increment action, decrement action, reset action. This is just a declaration. Okay, right? So this is, we need to create an action file for every particular feature. We need to create a reducer file. Then this reducer should be configured in the app module. That means whatever you have done, that configuration should inform the app module. App module garu, I may raise an increment action. Miru worry avakandi. Already I have written that kind of action functionality in the so and so reducer. So whenever you get any action, first of all, please check in this counter reducer. ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్తున్నా నేను, వేర్ ఈస్ ద రెడ్యూసర్? అల్టిమేట్లీ ఎవరు చేయాలా పని? ఇంక్రిమెంట్ రెడ్యూసర్ చేయాలి. ఈ రెడ్యూసర్ ఎక్కడుంది అని నేను ఇక్కడ చెప్తున్నా. దీస్ 3 are mandatory, and of course what I should do in the counter is also important. So before coming to this, before coming to the counter component, let me go for my old application. Just so here I have increment action. So I want to do this particular work. This is the work I want to do. So here, just concentrate on this counter. What is the state I am maintaining for this particular counter? A value. That is the current value of the count is called state here, is the state here. And what are the actions we can perform on it? Increment, decrement. So ultimately, when I perform increment action, the counter will be incremented to next number. Whenever I perform, of course, right, I did not write it. Whenever I perform the delete action, decrement action. To perform that action, I need a button. You can't say, my dear computer decrement. You can't say like this, right? You need the event. You need the event. That event will perform that action. Ready? Excellent. So let me stop this. This is what I want to make out, right? So first, this is my application here in the app component.ts app dot no, not app. Wait a minute. Counter dot actions dot ts. This is the file you have to write. Those people who are coming from React, they have a tendency of writing .js. Don't write .js. Okay, Angular will not allow that file extensions. So here first I need to import create action from NgRx store. Okay, so it will be automatically imported. And now I had to create the actions. So, and I had to use these actions somewhere else, right? So here I am writing them as an exportable actions. Export const increment is equal to create action of, you have to give the string. In the string, you can actually put anything. There is nothing like you have to give the only this name. Okay. But the general contention is the name of the component, that is counter, and the name, that is what is that counter component. I think so. One second. The nomenclature, better to write it in a proper way. That's the only concern. Yeah, correct. Counter component, and after counter component, make it the name. What I am doing here, increment. So this is the increment action declaration. It is like a variable declaration. It's just a declaration. Then I am supposed to create decrement operation for counter component, and the action is decrement. So let me not use the reset. Let me not clumsy or club everything. After this, I need to create counter dot reducer dot ts. So today I did this mistake. I named it as .js because I'm very much involved in ReactJS. So I got that tendency. So I named it as JS, only this file. Somehow I don't forget, I don't remember. I was unable to fix the problem. It killed my half an hour of time. Finally, I have seen there is something is wrong. So it was just a JS extension. So be careful. So first import the increment decrement actions from counter actions, and import create reducer function from store, because ultimately we need to create the reducer. And to listen, for listener, you need an on method for listening the actions. So what is my ultimate job? Export const counter reducer is equal to create reducer of. So this particular every component or every state should be starting with one value, right? Yes or no? What are the default values you will be having as a person? Your name. You have initialized with one name. You are initialized with one date of birth. That is initial values, right? So for every state we have initial values. Define that initial values separately. Export const initial state is equal to 0. I'm just naming it as initial state is equal to 0. So here in the counter reducer, I had to first pass initial state, and then I had to define, because ultimately if you fire an action, that ultimately comes to this particular reducer. So on whenever there is a increment action, what I should do? I should take the state from the store and update the state with one value. Here the state, sir, I don't want to confuse you. Inside this reducer, the state means only the count state. In your application, you may have to-do state, count state, cart state, products state, login state, user state. There are so many states, but under this reducer, counter reducer, the state means only the state of counter, not the whole. You have to be ready with this. Okay. So if I say state plus 1, which value will be modified? Only this part count value will be modified, not other states. So the same way on decrement state minus 1. So my reducer is ready. Okay. After marriage, what you are supposed to do? You have to register your marriage in the registration office. After your birth, what you should do? You should go to you should apply for the birth certificate. Hello. Otherwise, you will not be an Indian. Very dangerous. So you need to apply for that. Once you purchase the bike, what you are supposed to do? Registration. In Hyderabad, it is very famous. Going with yellow thing. అదేందో మరి చిరంజీవి సినిమా టికెట్ లెక్కన అతికించుకుంటారు వెనకాల. Anyways, let us register here. Private limited into where? In the app module. Whether you have created new component, new module, new service, new guard, new pipe, new route, new directive, whatever you create, what you are supposed to do? You have to come to the store and you have to register it, declare it. So inside the for root, take it like this. Remove that reducer and do this. Count colon counter reducer. So here I am registering counter reducer. If you are getting any error, remove this. Not an issue. Meta reducers are different. They are called middlewares. Don't club with that. So this is, see, you need to practice a lot to get the command or grip on this. Okay. You don't remember so easily. Even I did my practice. Promise. I must have done so many years, so many times. But still, what did I do? Very sincerely, I will share. Yesterday night, I created NgRx demo once. Today morning, I created. You can see the difference. Today, 7:59, I have done. Yesterday, I have done it once. Because this is not so easy syntax. And moreover, I don't want to copy it from the documentation. So obviously, what I am supposed to do? I had to practice. Only practice gives you. Concept, I can teach you the concept anytime. But writing the code is different. So practice it. Yes, sir. Congratulations, your first action and first reducers all are configured very properly. Now we have to create the component. Let us use the beautiful Angular for creating the component. Angular CLI. Where I am running the application? Did I stop the application? Localhost 4200 is not running, right? Okay. So yeah, that's fine. So here I am creating ng new ng generate c counter. I am creating the counter component. Counter component is here. Here little things will happen. So the data, whatever coming from, whatever there in the store, to gather it, you need to write like this. Count dollar. I'll tell you that data is like a observable. That is like a stream, and it is asynchronous. Okay. So what is observable? What is RxJS? What is async await? What is async pipe? What is promise? These are all a different class. Okay. Maybe in the coming weeks, I will discuss that concept also. But here I am dealing with the simple thing. So just mostly I will go with the syntax. So this is basically whatever the store you create. In that store, every data is like an observable. So you have to define it like an observable with the data type any. Don't worry too much about data type. But here you have to initialize this count or bind this count with the store. So for that, I had to bring the store as a service here. Constructor, I am using public only, public store. Store. My this store. So here store should be of type any. And then this dot count dollar is equal to this dot store dot select. In the selector method, this select method, I will get the state. I'll get the state. I don't want the whole state. I want only the count state. So here, whatever the in the module, whatever the name you have given, if you want to point to only that counter, you have to use this name, the count. So here, sorry, yeah. So out of the whole state, in the in the reducers, individual reducer will get individual count state, but in the component you will get whole state, complete state. That means to do, if you have multiple features, all the state will come. So I don't want all the state, only count value I want to be. Right? So in the count, I have the value. So that value, I want to display it here. So directly you can't write it like this, count dollar, because this count is a observable. Generally we subscribe and then we will store it another variable and then we display it, but use async pipe. So it will automatically display the value. So my complete application is ready. Just start. And why my counter is not available? Because in my app component, I have the old thing. I had to include app counter. Is here. So now how cool is this? Now I want to have the button for BUTTON, button for increment, INC, button for DEC. So before that, I definitely need to define the functions here. First, methods, not functions. So increment count is the method, I mean to say event handler, which should eventually call the action. So to call the action, you need another method called dispatch, which is available in store. This dot store dot dispatch of, I need to call the action, right? Inside this dispatch, call the action. But where is the INC? I don't think, is it? What is the action name? Increment. So automatically increment action, you can see, call it. So this function is now able to call the increment action so that that action will be observed by reducer, and reducer will modify the state, and store will update the state to counter back. So counter, even its own data, to update its own data, it has to do this entire procedure. Yes. For smaller things, for counter, do you need really Redux? But to understand Redux, we need counter. For counter, you don't need Redux. Okay, don't think like inta procedure. Don't feel like Genilia in Bomarillu. More inni problems atla ankoka. So it's an approach, and let us follow. And I will call this button click is equal to increment counter. Did you mean increment count? So now when I click on increment button, it's gone. So now I implemented the best. What is that best? We now implemented counter not using local store. I mean to say not local component variables. We maintain the counter in a store. So first of all, get comfortable to this. After that, try to implement the decrement also. So decrement counter count. So this dot store dot dispatch of decrement. So now when I click on this button, it is not happening because I have not binded this event handler to the decrement button. So now it can increment, it can decrement. Counter is over. Now there is one more, yes. So see, directly increment method should not be called. Directly increment method cannot be called. It is a function of store. So to call any action, we need to pass through dispatch only. Okay. So actions are able to get called only through dispatch. So this dispatch can identify where this action should go. Okay. So Deepti's question is very valid. In fact, increment action will give you an object. Okay, which I don't want to confuse you. Okay. In fact, that we should dispatch the action object. So that action object comes from action. Okay. Dispatch functionality is to call the respective reducer with the given data. Okay. And here comes, we need to implement the to-do list as well. How to implement the to-do list? Right? So first of all, before creating the to-do list UI, what do? What is my first way? I'll create a file for to-do actions. So to-do list dot actions dot ts. Import create action, and then here it is. There is a small change because to-dos, we need to add to-do, right? Hello, we need to add to-do. How do you add to-do? So there is one more thing you need, that is called pipe. Sorry. Props. Prop. Props. What is another thing that is called props? So here, because so far we have called the action, but in to-do list, when you want to perform the add to-do action, along with the action, you have to pass some data also. So to pass that data, you need a special syntax called props. See that. Export const add to do is equal to create action of, this is regular, the name of the component, to-do list, component space, add to do. This is the scenario. After this, you need props method, props function call. So you have to define what this props is actually going to take. Better to take it as a string, but give it as an any. I'll tell you later why I just used any. So now my add to do action is ready to take the data. I am repeating, my add to do action is also ready to take the data. In the counter, here I called increment action. I am not passing any data here, but in the to do, I had to pass that data also, na, along with the event. So for that, I am using that props. Okay, to do action, only one action, not many times, many things. Let us use it. Then to-do list dot reducer dot ts. So in this to-do list dot reducer dot ts, first things first, import to-do list reducer, add to do action, import create to do, create reducer, comma on. Export const. Let me have some default to dos to show in the list. So const initial state is equal to, don't use this counter reducer initial state, okay? Initial state is equal to, in an array, I'm using get BMW parent have a ice cream. These are the three to-dos I have. So then I had to create the reducer. Export const, which reducer? To-do reducer is equal to create reducer of, first argument is initial state and second argument is on. When I have add to do action, I had to do some work, right? Here is very strategic thing. So here you will get the current state and the payload. So when I click on add to do, it will come, of course. Okay. So I will return an array of this current state values as well as new value. So I generally place like this. In the payload, I will send it as an object, payload dot new to do item, something like this. So here I am updating the state. Whatever I am returning it, this will actually update the data into state. Which state? To do state, not all the state. So my counter, this action is also over export, not need export, all over. Then I purchased a new house. Already for my first house, I made the registration, but I purchased the new house. So should I register that house also. Already I have registered first house, no? You should. Okay. So you should register it to where? To-dos, to-do reduce. Then I will create it. See, guys, first I don't call my Pujari for housewarming, how much you will take, huh? For housewarming decoration items, how much you will charge for decoration. Or else first I purchase the house or I will build the house. I'll build the house, then I will do it. Nah? The same way, first I will prepare all the actions and reducer work. Then only I will create the component. How do I create the component in Angular? NgGC to-do list. So in the to-do list, the first complexity is to get that data. So here I'll go to-dos $: observable of type any. Only for in the future, or else you just attend my classes. I will let you know how do I handle this complete data with models, with the data types, interfaces, classes. There is a lot to do. This is only for small understanding how this works. But if you really want to write the industry level standards, obviously you need to do a lot. So to-dos, and then constructor in that public, I'll just make the store available. Store this dot to-dos is equal to this dot store dot select. It's not store. No, something is wrong. I have not imported the store. So import the store, and then this dot to-dos is equal to this dot store dot select of state. See, that is what the problem is. In this state, in this callback function, I have the whole state, whole and both Andhra and Telangana. I mean to say counter as well as to do. So I don't want the counter here. I want only state dot to do's. I want only that particular part. Understood? Right. So here finally I got the state to do's and I want to print it. UL li star ng for is equal to let to do of to do's with async pipe. Okay, watch this video till the end. You have a lot of surprises. So finally, I will use to do to display the data. To do, did you mean where? Acha. I did that. But where is my output? Because I have not included this in app to-do list. Yes. Which is in the now the come to the point. That is, I want to maintain, I want to add the data also, right? So there, first of all, I need to bring the forms module because I want to use ng model. So forms module. So here input type is equal to text. ng model is equal to, acha, I don't have any new task. Huh? So I will create new to do is of type string, which is equal to empty. So here I will say new to do. So on a button click of add new to do, I had to call a function. So here I am writing that add new to do. So when I click on it, that new to do should be sent to the actions. I mean, to the reducer through actions. So this dot store dot dispatch method. Here I will call add to do action. This add to do is different. Okay. Add to do action through which I am passing the new to do. So where is the new to do? In the new to. So this ultimately goes to to-do list reducer under payload. No? So new to do. Okay, let us see. So now I would like to add a new to do, that is get water bill done. So I am not able to see any changes. Yeah, it may happen anything. Okay, let me see whether how do you debug this problem. So for that, first of all, in the component, did I add the action? So first of all, don't think about too complex point. First of all, think for basic point. So clip is equal to add new to do function. So now make some noise. Yes, here I am able to see some new item got added, but the data is not displayed because there is something fishy. So let us see that fishiness. So first of all, am I getting that data here in the new to do? Most probably yes. Let me alert. Write down the console.log of this dot new to do. The same way, after this dispatch, it will definitely go to the reducer. And I would like to see what will be there in this place, in the payload. I just want to see what's there in the payload. So now, this is the problem. Okay. What is happened? What's happened? What happened here? Whatever you are sending, it is taking it as an object. So what do I do is, see, I am getting the data, but S, K, M, D, F, S, H, these are all going as an array of data. In fact, object of key and value pairs. I am getting the data, but it is not coming as a string. It is not coming as a string. So what do I do? When I click on it, I don't want to send this as string. I will be sending it as an object, as new to do item colon this dot new to. So now let us see, let it go anything wrong, but here I am getting that in the payload, I am getting new to do item as SD, whatever I have sent. So now I'll go back to the to-do list reducer in the payload. What is the name I am getting? New to do item. So finally, the new class is get good reviews and likes and shares from audience. So with this, you can actually able to create so much. You can create a cart, you can create a games, blog kind of thing, many more things. So if you really like it and if you really want my next class, I am giving you a task. I don't know Arvind. Okay, Arvind is a regular person. Deepthi, Nazir, Shekhar, Kalyan, I want your good feedback and a good review on my channel as well as especially on Google page. Please, good review. Huh? If you feel anything wrong, let me know personally. But in the Google, please go to the Google and type it. Here, not here. Here, EduPoly. I'm not going for site. Google problem. EduPoly. You can find out my page here. Please write a review here. You will have write a review. Please write the review. Okay. Deepthi, Shekhar, Nazir. Okay. Yes. What are effects used for? Yes. Effects are for creating the API calls. Okay. I'll definitely upload the video, Deepthi, in the YouTube. You watch it and make sure you suggest our courses to some people. Okay. Thanks for attending the session. Hope you liked it. I will forward the GitHub link code as well as video by today evening. You will see and enjoy. Acha, Venkat Meerayana. Okay. Fine, Venkat. Okay. See you guys. See you. Bye.